So you got chainsaws and, is that Kleenex boxes here?
No, they're not Kleenex boxes. These are some rubber gloves, and I want to talk about these. I'm sharpening saws. We're cutting firewood now. We dull these saws pretty quickly, so I'm taking the chains off, just doing things that expose me to grease and grime and things. I don't really mind having grease and grime on my hands. They're easy enough to wash, but there is the issue of absorbing toxins through your skin. And I think there's a concern there. So for the last, I don't know, maybe 3, 4, 5 years, I've kept different kinds of rubber gloves, I'll call them, in stock in the shop here. And I use them for finishing, or if I have to do some really greasy, oily work on vehicles, stuff like that. The first rubber gloves I used, disposable gloves, were just the kind that doctors use. And they're pretty thin. They do the job, but they're not all that strong.
They work too for if you wanted to yank a tooth with a pair of needle nose pliers. If family members had a tooth issue.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Yeah.
Well,
how are
you kept that in mind, though. That's what I mean, didn't you?
Oh, did I? Did I wear some rubber gloves?
Well, maybe you just joked about it. I don't
maybe.
know. But
I have extracted teeth from you kids.
Well, that's what I mean.
Pliers, but I wasn't wearing gloves at the time.
Oh, didn't wear gloves. Not fun.
But anyway, I'm not the only one. Protective disposable gloves are becoming more popular, and they're getting better because up till fairly recently, we just had to make use with medical type gloves, which, as I said, are kind of thin and not really well suited to the job. One kind I really like are these monkey wrench gloves. They really are. They're a disposable glove, but they're actually kind of a work glove, and I like them because they're stronger than regular rubber gloves. They've got a textured surface here, so they're a little easier to grip, and they just last a long time. They work really well, and although they're disposable, they're not. You don't have to dispose of them right away if you buy them large enough. So my hand is not really an extra large hand, but don't be afraid to buy gloves of that size, because this is a supposedly extra large size, and it's not as tight as some, but it's still pretty tight, and you can still pick up little parts and
it
things.
Looks pretty thick there. Can you give us a stretching demo? See how resilient it is.
I could do that. Well, anyway, extra large means I can take them off, so I don't have to be throwing them out all the time. I don't like to throw out. If you're throwing out gloves all the time, chances are you're going to be reluctant to put them on all the time when you should be too. So, because you don't want to waste things. But let's give it a try. I haven't actually tried to break these.
Torture test here.
Oh, well, it did break.
Ah.
But how often are you going to stretch them like that? I mean, in practical use, I find that they hold up really well. Let's try another one.
Well, and regular dentist or doctor gloves. Yeah, that one's stronger. Probably the one on the top that dried out a little bit.
It could have. Let's see. Maybe it's kind of like an exercise thing. There we go.
It took a lot of force, though, to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, you do that without even stretching it at all with regular medical gloves.
Yeah, they just pop right off. So my only complaint with disposable gloves is the fact that eventually you have to dispose of them. And something like this is going to take a long time to biodegrade. Like, they estimate it takes about 200 years in a landfill for these to biodegrade.
So we don't have to worry about it then, right?
Well, we don't. But I personally want to look beyond my own personal life.
Yes, that's a good policy. Yes.
So, brand new, Green Monkey, Landfill Biodegradable disposable gloves.
So is that like the same brand?
Same brand.
Monkey Wrench, Green Monkey.
Yeah, Monkey Wrench, Green Monkey.
I sense the same here.
Right. Well, it's from the same company, and Watson Gloves. They've been making gloves in Canada for more than 100 years, and so I just got these. I don't know anything about them yet. Let's take a look.
Well, they're green.
They're green, which is appropriate, and they're supposed to biodegrade in landfills in 10 years instead of 200. So now I can see these are thinner. These are 8 mil, which means 8/1000ths of an inch thick, and these are 4 mil. So they're not going to be they're probably not going to be as strong.
Do they still feel beefier than regular dentist gloves or something?
They're similar. They are a little stronger, and I did get them. I did get these in the extra large size. So, I mean, the only thing better than a biodegradable glove is a glove that you don't have to throw out right away at all. And they're made of something called nitro. Both of these are actually nitro and nitro. That's important to know because nitrile is a synthetic rubber, and it's stronger than the other kind of glove technology, which is latex. Latex is a natural rubber, so they get latex from tree sap from rubber trees, and they treat it so that it's, instead of being a liquid, it's kind of a semi-solid. The problem with latex is that people fairly frequently develop allergies to it. Not right away necessarily, but so if you start wearing rubber gloves for your work around the shop and you find that your hands are itchy or you're getting some rash or something like that, it very well could be the gloves you're using if they're latex. But nitrile is not that kind of a glove.
Oh, I had a question about that. Are regular dishwashing gloves, like the yellow kind, are those latex?
I don't know. Some of them are. But I think some of them are also some kind of nitrile because they're fairly thick. At least the ones that I've seen are thicker than most latex. So.
Because Edita's been getting a little allergic reaction on her hands lately washing dishes, and I kind of think it's to do with...
Well, are these tall enough to do the job? I mean, for dishwashing?
Probably.
Fairly long cut.
I don't know what those regular dishwashing gloves are made of, if it's any different than this.
Could be.
Not.
Well, give them a try.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I keep a box of these on hand. I find that it just saves me from having to wash particularly gunky stuff off my hands. But the main takeaway, I think, is limiting your exposure to chemicals. It's not something that you might think of when you're too young, but the older you get, the more precious your health becomes, or the more you realize how precious it's been all along.
Yeah, well, when you only have a few years left, you want to maximize.
Like who?
Well, I wasn't going to point fingers, but maybe I will point fingers.
I hope I have a few years left. We'll see. But anyway, so I'm going to be trying these biodegradable ones now. I'm going to do a little experiment too and put them under a rock somewhere or in the corner of the compost pile and see how long they last.
Check them in 10 years?
Check them in 10 years.
Well,
of course, I won't be around then, right? I mean,
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'll have to check them. So when it comes to gloves for protecting you from chemicals, I know I've used different types of rubber gloves to do wood finishing and things.
Right.
And I've noticed, I think I've used like regular medical, doctor's gloves for wood finishing before, and maybe I was just rubbing the finish on too hard, but it seemed to me at the time like the finish somehow, and I think maybe it was an oil-based thing, I don't remember, but it seemed like it was wearing through the gloves, and they would eventually rip and break and let finish get in onto my hands.
Yeah, and probably even make it worse than before because now you got finish held against your skin all around.
Well, exactly. So was it something chemical happening there?
Yeah, I think so. Those are probably latex. I remember when you were doing wood finishing in the shop here, we were in our latex glove mode at the time. And besides being thin, the gloves you were using could also be broken down by the finishing material.
Well, that's what I thought was
this stuff is different. These are made for workshop use. Right? This isn't something for someone in a lab or someone in a beautician's office or something like that. These are real gloves used by people who do real work with messy stuff. Well, thank you for joining me for this video. I hope you found it useful. If you're watching this on YouTube, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you like. Hit the notifications bell so you automatically know when I have new videos coming out. And check out my website and newsletter. The description is in the description box, the URL. And I have tool giveaways, a great weekly Saturday morning newsletter. Got about 28,000 people subscribing to that. And love to have you aboard. Thanks for watching.